Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Galvin with a very quick COVID update. I finished my weekend night shifts. Very busy in the emergency department. I alluded to before that the hospitals were holding a lot of people in the emergency department primarily because of lack of staff in the hospital, not because of COVID. Back in January it was COVID. Now we're admitting sort of normal stuff, but there are no staff up on the floor to take care of them, and I think that may have something to do with people just getting burned out after a year of just basically grueling drudgery dealing with this virus. And I think a lot of people are starting to get to their wits' end and maybe looking into different fields of medicine, and that may explain some of it. I'm not 100% sure why, but we are boarding 30-40 people in the emergency department right now. A couple of things I want to talk to you briefly. One is this idea of vaccine. If you're vaccinated, you can go to Europe. So, I think I'm getting sick of arguing with people about vaccines. You know what? If you don't want to get a vaccine, don't get it. I don't get it. If you want to get sick, that's fine. But it looks like it's going to start being, if you want to do things like go to Europe, you're going to need to get vaccinated, and you have to decide for yourself whether that's worthwhile for you or not. I think that the idea of vaccine passports get people upset in a lot of ways, but having some proof that you've gotten vaccinated in order to do things, go to a concert or things like that, I'm not against that. I think if people are willing to go and do the right thing to protect themselves, protect those around them by getting vaccinated with the vaccine that we know is very, very safe and effective, then you should get a little bit of benefit from that. If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's fine. It's your prerogative, but don't expect to put other people at risk by going back to normal life without protecting others. Interestingly, there was a report, I think it was in the Atlantic, about a huge surge of cases in Michigan, and they're seeing the same thing I've kind of alluded to. We're not seeing older, sicker, chronically ill people with COVID anymore because they've all been immunized. What we're starting to see are younger people who have really no risk factors. I took care of a guy who was pretty sick last night, didn't require admission, but he was 45 years old, very fit, and he was sick. He was really sick. Luckily, we were able to send him home, but he's hurting, and we know that a lot of those people that get sick like that have long-term symptoms. Post-COVID syndrome is going to be a huge issue in this country, I'm afraid, going forward. And I know in my own clinic, we've gotten to be sort of experts at treating it, and we're getting more and more people who are calling and from all over the country to deal with their post-COVID stuff, and we've found some little tricks that work well, but it's frustrating when your brain doesn't work, or you're tired all the time, or you can't breathe. Those things are hard to deal with. The numbers in India continue to just astound. The fact that they're running out of oxygen. Thank God that we've avoided that, and the fact is that even though we've only immunized about 35% of the population, about 50% has gotten at least one immunization. And so I don't see us going back into an India-like situation, because we have enough people who have been responsible and have gotten their immunizations and are safe and can't give it to anybody else. And so I don't think it's going to be that bad. I do have concerns about this not going away, because we have lowered numbers of immunizations going forward. It seems like those numbers are dropping off, and there's a lot of people that have either decided they're not going to get it, or they're hesitant for whatever reason. Unfortunately, there's this entire industry of these anti-vax people that prey on people's misinformation and pass these narratives off that almost every time you look at them are blatantly false. But they're causing real harm, because people are going to get hurt. People are going to get sick, people are going to die or have long-term consequences because they did not get vaccinated. And I had a really sad story last night. I took care of this lovely little 85-year-old lady, and as I was talking to her, she told me that her husband had just died of COVID in mid-March, and he caught COVID 1 day or 2 days after his first vaccination, so before it was really effective. And he ended up getting COVID and dying, and they've been married for 50 years or so. And, part of the reason she was in the hospital is because I think she was, depressed, among other things. And I didn't have the heart to ask her because, they're in their 80s. They were eligible for vaccination back in late December in North Carolina. I don't know why they waited until March, but I couldn't help but think to myself, boy, had they just gotten their vaccination when it was available to everybody, he would still be here. And he ended up dying of COVID. And it's sad, and we still see those things, but luckily we're not seeing the number of them we were seeing before. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. I'm tired. Didn't have a real lot to report today, but just, look after yourselves. Do the right thing. Get immunized. If you've got concerns, talk to your doctor. I've had a lot of patients in my clinic, and we deal with a lot of, executives and things like that, and there's a surprising number of them who have been kind of fooled by some of this stuff. And I have to tell you, I've had long conversations with quite a few of them, and ultimately every one of them has gotten vaccinated or happy that they did it. Remember, we've vaccinated who in this country? The sickest, the oldest, and the people most at risk, people on the front lines. And, if those people are not having problems, now where we're at now is younger, healthy people are certainly not going to have problems. So get immunized, do your part. I'll talk to you soon. I'll be back next week with another video, and I'll probably be doing some more wellness stuff as well. Have a great night. I'm Dr. Galvin. Stay safe, wear masks, wash your hands, look after yourselves, look after those around you, and look after your families. I'll talk to you soon.